Maybe a clip-on fan to direct air from face. I like that. So a clip-on fan to direct air from face. So that is literally putting a fan on your body, blowing away from you to direct air away from you. I like that. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Now, here in the third installment of our Covidians series, we've got more problems to solve. Getting together with holidays, taking pictures with people. How are you going to do that safely while minimizing your risk of being infected with imaginary things? Well, we just need to turn to the zero COVID community on Reddit, as well as some alarmingly very TikTok-ish TikTok videos. Let's take a look. Heading into fourth Thanksgiving without socializing. Good God. Fourth Thanksgiving without socializing? How many Thanksgivings do you plan on? Well, probably for the rest of my life. This pandemic, it never ends, does it? We haven't had a real Thanksgiving since 2019, yet keep reading articles about how they expect travel numbers to hit all-time highs this week. We used to love gathering with our extended family and friends for Thanksgiving, but realize that it just isn't safe now. Oh, it's definitely not safe now, and no telling when it will be safe. Have you seen the maskless coughing people that they show on TV lined up in airports across the United States? Yeah, by the way, you can get infected from watching people on TV. I want you to think about that. How will this pandemic ever end or even improve if people are so reckless? That's what I've been saying. What do the commenters have to say? Well, we have one. Last year, my partner and I had our one immunocompromised friend over outside very safely. Probably kept them outside and y'all were inside. Cool. That friend died of COVID in January. Well, they probably not, actually. You said they're immunocompromised. They might have died with it, but statistically probably not from it. So nonetheless, it's just, stay safe, hold your boundaries. Got it. It's funny how this community probably doesn't have to assert their boundaries very hard. Like, you want to come over for outdoor Thanksgiving? Everybody's got to wear a mask and everything. No, we don't want to come. All right. Don't really have to assert that boundary too well. The boundaries kind of do enough repelling of their own accord, don't they? Another commenter, my friend just guilted me this week about still not attending large indoor gatherings. You mean your friend wants to see their friend? That's weird. She said, eventually I will have to start doing things again. I said, sure, when there's a better... I still don't want a vascular disease. Well, who does? And these folks had RSV last month. Well, when there's a better... That doesn't sound like a very obedient Covidian, does it? Y'all were supposed to... pretend it's great. It's great. It's so effective that you need to keep taking them. And also it's so effective that yours isn't going to work unless everybody else gets one. Definitely stops transmission, stops with you, but also not at all because we didn't test that. I don't want them to do it. So when there's a better one, or you can wait until you have what's called an immune system or natural immunity, but I don't think Pfizer is going to be releasing natural immunity for a while, and there's no other way to get it. So we've got to keep waiting, hang tight in this together, but completely apart, socially isolated, having mental illness from it. Got to keep going. Oh, this comment's good. My husband and I are also having dinner alone again. Hope y'all enjoy each other's company. My parents, who do not mask and do not social distance, are having dinner alone because most of our family is traveling for a wedding overseas. My parents are angry that we will not have dinner with them. Yeah, that's valid. I told my mom if she will start masking now and practice, you gotta practice social distancing and then test at least twice, we would consider doing dinner. She said it's too much work, so we're doing dinner separately. Mom, if you just let me be a tyrant, you do as I say, just then you can be in my life. Oh, you don't want to be controlled, Mom? I'm doing science here. You don't want me to control you with science? Okay, well, you're going to do dinner alone. And then before we get to our last video, there's another zero COVID Reddit thread Asking for holiday tips. Man, how are we going to get through this? Asking for those here who avoid work/non-close friend socializing stuff involving food. Food is dangerous. But who do want to be with family in as safe a way as possible. How are you handling it this year? / what did you do last year? With mask mandates gone, I'm going into it super cautious. Like we'll bring HEPA filters. Could you imagine having a friend come over to your house with HEPA filters? It's like we got this whole air system we're going to install in your house and like put this on your face. So we'll bring HEPA filters, masking and less eating, still debating scarfing, then masking. I like that. I don't know what that means, but I like it. And trying to get everyone to agree to windows open for circulation. People love that in the winter. Maybe a clip-on fan to direct air from face. I like that. So a clip-on fan to direct air from face. So that is literally putting a fan on your body, blowing away from you to direct air away from you. I like that. Like in theory, if that worked, it would create a vacuum where there's no oxygen, if it worked. If it doesn't work, then the clip-on fan blows air away from you and other air takes its place. I guess that's, based on physics, but also like, I think physics would not be a very inclusive thing to rely on in this day and age. I like these comments. We're not accepting invitations to Thanksgiving. I would like to visit my 77-year-old mother who does not mask anymore. Wow, she's elderly and seemingly doing just fine, and she's not wearing a mask. I wonder why you still feel like you need to. She will not see us unless we eat with her, and I just don't feel safe taking off my mask and eating with someone who doesn't mask. Me either. Especially because she will be going to many parties before Thanksgiving, and I don't trust rapid tests to protect me. Yeah, they're very ineffective. It is so hard to be COVID safe today. You are really alone. Yeah, it does. It definitely makes you very alone. It's very self-induced and you get very alone. Another comment. None of our relatives would be willing to take a single precaution. Not even something as simple as socializing outside when the weather is perfectly fine. Dude, it is perfectly frigid out. And they make it clear they think we're ridiculous to be concerned about COVID. So we just don't see them. Granted, so many people have woken up. And mass formation psychosis, how effective is it? This is the evidence. Like there is nothing these people will do to shed their fear-based protection methods that are not very protective in the first place. Nothing they could do. Like, what are they waiting for? I don't know what they're waiting for. But mass formation psychosis, it's a hell of a drug. But what else do we need to know? Because a lot of times if you're at a holiday gathering, people want to take pictures. And taking pictures implies your freaking face is in the picture. How are we going to do that if we need to wear a mask? Is it safe to be unsafe for 10 seconds for a picture? I don't think so. So we have a photographer, and I just want to point out before we watch this video with this really good holiday gathering picture, color conscious advice, I want to point out that she has armpit hair. She has armpit hair. I have a lot of judgment about that. But I think it says everything you need to know about her. So here we go.
This is me giving you permission to leave your mask on in photos. You don't have to.
And you have permission to have armpit hair.
To take it off, you just don't. This also goes for parents who offer.
Which, by the way, someone like her, I'd say, like, I would rather you have your mask on for photos. If someone is concerned about it, there's a really good chance that they actually do look better with the mask on.
To take their children's mask off in photos. I'm a photographer, and so I deal with a lot of different kinds of scenarios. I shoot a lot of different things. And the amount of people who, like, apologize. They're like, oh my god, sorry, should I take this off? No, girly, I'm wearing one. And in situations where I'm photographing things that are intended to be, you know, for social media, for advertising, people are like looking for a certain vibe and they don't imagine that a mask fits that.
You mean a vibe that isn't like a hysterical, terrorized sheep? I could see how that vibe doesn't fit every occasion. I just have to stress once again, she has armpit hair. Sure as hell does. It's just right there. I think it's more armpit hair than I have. JP, isn't that misogyny? You have armpit hair and you're getting mildly grossed out by this girl with armpit hair? I don't know. If it's misogyny, then I'm a misogynist.
It does. Especially if you're a place that wants to bill yourself as inclusive, let people leave their masks on in photos. Like, if people are wearing masks in your establishment already, you should allow people to wear them in the photos, in the advertising, so people who wear masks, people who do not care to be infected by an airborne respiratory virus, so that they know they are welcome here. And look, if you insist on doing this, go outside, and I hope you know who you're taking your mask off around. I promise you can tell that you're happy. I promise.
It's kind of like being maskless around people. You got to know who you're around. It's just like you need to know your sexual partner. You need to know, like, are they dirty? Are they infected? Have they been breathing around other people? So I do think this is just as serious as that. And also, I love her just marketing savvy. Like, if you're a business, like having people wearing masks in your marketing photos, it's good for business. Yeah, it definitely is. You know, if you'll look more inclusive, it'll be just as good for business as Victoria's Secret using 300-pound women, men, Megan Rapinoe. It'll be just as good for business as Victoria's Secret move. Also weird that their value dropped so dramatically that they stopped doing that, but it'll probably work for your business. A couple more pieces in the Zero COVID community on Reddit, rounding out the holiday edition of the Covidians. Can we please talk about how the singles here are handling holidays? Yeah, please, let's do. Oh, by the way, need support? I guess you can donate to these people. It would be a non-issue for me to simply stay at home with my husband if I had one. I see so many posts from couples who have been out in this regard, but I'd like to know what other singles here plan to do. I'm thinking to show up for a couple of hours in an N95 to pay a social visit, not take it off, to eat, then leave. I like it. I want to see them eat with a mask on. Just, you got to shove the food in real hard to get through the N95. But I'd love to see that. And then you get the community supporting, like attracts like, let's just validate this insanity and not actually try to help anybody rise above it. I'm staying home, declining a Friendsgiving invitation since it's too cold to eat outdoors. Yeah, weird how that is. We'll watch Korean dramas, that's racist, and basketball to avoid, I wonder if they're watching the WNBA, to avoid getting depressed by sentimental holiday specials. Yeah, well, you live in a depressed life. Bought a turkey breast yesterday. We'll make a few side dishes, keep your spirits up, treat yourself a little, and stay safe. Dude, this person, like everything, like you didn't buy a whole turkey, you bought a turkey breast. You didn't even buy turkey legs with the dark meat, which is much better. They're like, I need to make my life so miserable, I'm just going to do a turkey breast. The only other step in that direction is if they're like, I'm not even doing a turkey breast, I'm doing a tofurkey breast. Then another commenter, my plan is to check in with friends over the phone, take a long nature walk, do some journaling, and feed myself special little treats. Probably talking about drugs. These are very lonely, self-induced lives these people are living. We need human connection. It's the most valuable currency of our time. I mean, it's very depressing hearing about this. Solitary confinement is torture for a reason. It's because it's torturous. Another commenter, very depressed and lonely. C'est la vie. It is very depressing and lonely. Like, do you want to die of depression and loneliness, or do you want to live? The choice is yours. Then, of course, we've got, the victim post, very depressed and lonely, and then I'm sorry. Cool. We're doing the victim thing here. And then also relevant to the situation, finally we'll end with this. People's behavior when they see your mask. I like to see my behavior when I see people still wearing a mask. It's usually not a compassionate, encouraging look. It's more of, it's pretty judgmental, I think. I'm out and about with my K94. I wonder what's the difference between N95 and K94. I guess it works with different science. I don't know. Has anyone else noticed that people seem to touch their faces soon after you begin an interaction, i.e. cashiers, people helping you with takeout? They touch their faces. I mean, they're acting like a human, doing human gestures. That is weird, and I don't like it. Can we mandate that people aren't allowed to touch their faces because I don't want them to? And then if you're looking for advice, this is a good place to find advice. If you need help, then taking advice from someone who is very unwell is usually the best option. So here's the advice. Commenter says, a tactic I've used since high school, never look at anyone, ever. How's that for human connection? Never look at anyone. I went to the mall yesterday for an eye exam, and I just didn't look at anyone. I'm sure I get stares, but I genuinely don't care about what these people are doing. I'm just looking at the shops, trying to get to my appointments on time. Ha ha. Never look at anyone ever. And then we got a comment to that comment. This is the way. Once you realize that all people look alike, or all people look like people, you don't feel the need to look at them. You get to miss unnecessary interactions. That's the thing. You miss a lot of interactions. You don't look at people. And then this commenter, I don't see people touching their faces, but I get people who look at me and cough. I feel a lot of the time it's a deliberate attempt to mock the mask. It most likely is. Yeah, it definitely is. And it's definitely amusing. With that said, my beautiful freedom-loving friends, this is the holiday edition of the Covidians. It's volume 2. Again, if you didn't see the first edition of the Covidians, plenty of sanity to amuse ourselves. You see that video in the link in the description below. And most importantly, this isn't just about laughing at other people's expense, though, just to be honest. Certainly did some of that. It's more so we can see insanity, we see the effects of mass formation psychosis so that you're not in it. Because observing that kind of thing helps remove you so you can live your life as a free, sovereign, independent being. Ram Dass once said, you can't get out of a jail you don't know you're in. That's why, to an extent, observing insanity helps protect you from insanity because you don't identify with it without even knowing it. You observe it, see it, that's over there. I'll pray for you, and I'm going to do something much different than that. Hope you have a good Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas, but I'll certainly be talking to you before then. But before that, I have a special message for you. I'll tell you what ticks me off more than anything in the past few years, and it's tyrannical powers trying to keep life-saving medications from common people like you and I. Like, for example, they've coined the term horse deworming medication on an actual life-saving medication to try to smear it. And this is a medication that's won a Nobel Prize in medicine because it's so effective. But even worse than that psychological warfare is they've tried to keep it from physically going into people's hands. They've even tried to ban doctors from prescribing it. I don't like that, and I'm sure as heck not gonna leave my health and wellness in the hands of these tyrannical authorities, and that's why I am a major fan of the Wellness Company and their new product, the Emergency Medical Kit. It contains potentially life-saving medications like antiparasitics, antibiotics, and antivirals, the very one that they try to make it very hard for you to get. But the Wellness Company makes it easy. I've used it, my family has used it, and we were able to use it because the Emergency Medical Kit puts control of your health and wellness back in your hands. The Emergency Medical Kit is flying off the shelves because freedom lovers want to be prepared, whether it's for emergencies, sickness, or the zombie apocalypse. Now you might be saying, well, JP, that's all well and good, but I'm not a doctor. I wouldn't know what to take. Here's the cool part. The Emergency Medical Kit also comes with the Emergency Medication Guidebook, detailing exactly what to take and when. Yep, sorry tyrants, I will be taking back control over my health and wellness, and the Emergency Medical Kit makes it possible. So if you want to be prepared for the unexpected, go to twc.health/jpreacts and order your Emergency Medical Kit today. And while you're there, be sure to use the discount code JPReacts for 15% off. And please note, the Emergency Medical Kit is available only in the USA. Pays to be an American.